From the cocaine plantations of South America, through the inner channels of Ireland, passing through Spain's Costa del Sol, and even finding a hub in the vast metropolitan of the United Arab Emirates, the Kinahan Cartel is a transnational organized criminal syndicate, netting $1 billion a year, and, unsurprisingly, reigning as Ireland's ruling mafia. Besides being dubbed as one of the world's most notorious cartels, investigators have also claimed that the Kinahan Cartel's mode of operations is unlike any they've ever seen before. Christopher Vincent Sr., better known as Chrissy Dapper Don Kinahan, was born in Dublin to a working-class family. They weren't rich by any means, but they lived a lot more comfortably than most notorious drug lords of the century. What really separates Dapper Don from his associates in the drug trafficking industry, however, is his resilience. The man was on a first-name basis with the local police, who viewed him as a low-level thug. To be fair, a young Chrissy spent most of his youth selling heroin during Ireland's economic growth era to get by. A judge eventually sentenced him to serve 6 years in prison in 1986, again for a brief period in 1993, and for a 4-year stint in 1997. Chrissy had been dealing drugs with a medium-sized criminal organization of low-level thugs and petty criminals since the 1980s. But the Kinahan Cartel boomed after the founder was released from prison for the 3rd time. Ironically, Chrissy has the prison system to thank for the Kinahan Cartel being the notorious phenomenon it is today. Well, Chrissy wasn't a typical drug dealer. He wasn't a mastermind by any means, but he was cautious and calculated. In the later years of the Kinahan Cartel, they became known for various murderous plots, including the death of a 17-year-old. But in the earlier days, Chrissy focused on expansion in the least confrontational way possible. So he was one of the very few people serving a longer prison term in 1997 who didn't join a gang. Instead, what might come as a shocker to many people, he devoted himself to completing his degree. Here's another interesting tidbit for you. In 2001, Chrissy refused an early release to complete his 2nd degree. He also managed to learn Spanish and Russian while serving his time. The man had potential, quite obviously, but Chrissy decided to put his education and skills to work in furthering his criminal empire. By this time, Chrissy's sons, Daniel and Chrissy Jr., had started gaining entry into the family business. While Daniel has repeatedly denied any involvement in his father's criminal organization, investigations have revealed that the apparent boxing promoter, who's even worked with Tyson Fury at one point in his career, started running the day-to-day operations of the Kinahan Cartel after Chrissy retired.
What was your relationship with him, and what's your relationship going to be going forward?
I've just had a million questions about all this rubbish before, but like I said to them, it's none of my business, and I don't get involved in other people's business, so it doesn't really concern me.
And obviously, a lot has been made of the fact that you were pictured with him in February. Does that suggest that you are still close to him?
To be honest, I've never been close to anybody apart from my wife and my kids.
Anyway, once Chrissy was released, he realized that to make millions from his drug-dealing organization, he needed to expand. In the early 2000s, the crime boss moved to Spain, where he set up a transoceanic route for the Kinahan Cartel. Here, he also rubbed shoulders with several other leading drug lords, such as Gary Hutch. It might be worth noting here that when Chrissy caught a whiff of Gary possibly working against him, he had him shot dead in his home. Operation Shovel was a major crackdown operation that included investigators from Ireland, Spain, the United States, China, and Panama, which was designed to bring down Chrissy Kinahan. The operation began in 2006 with substantial evidence that linked Chrissy with the deaths of several Dubliners, Spaniards, and people who had ever crossed paths with the Kinahan Cartel. They managed to build a case against Chrissy and even had him arrested at one point, yet the operation shut down in 2012, with Dapper Don walking away as a free man. Why? Apparently there was nothing more than coincidental evidence that tied Chrissy to a major drug-dealing empire, even though his cartel was his own last name. Many people would regard the Kinahan Cartel as the world's most ruthless cartel, and that's in spite of the fact that Chrissy maintained a lower than most drug lords' profile. The bulk of the Kinahan Cartel's ruthlessness can be attributed to his associates, namely Thomas Kavanagh, or the Godfather. Of the 7 murders that Chrissy's second-in-command is rumoured to have committed, 2 of them were his own blood relatives. Thomas killed his cousin and nephew for allegedly skimming money from the cartel. The man was known to be a ticking time bomb. One wrong look could have you staring down the barrel of a gun. It's unsurprising why he was chosen to lead the cartel while Chrissy went into hiding during Operation Shovel. Remember Gary Hutch? He was a nephew of the Hutch cartel's founder and once a very close friend of Chrissy. However, after Gary attempted to have Daniel killed, Chrissy turned on him with the full force of the Kinahan Cartel. Not only did he have Gary killed, but vowed to end the Hutch cartel. The blood feud claimed the lives of 18 people. With Thomas arrested and Chrissy retiring, the Kinahan Cartel is now overseen by Daniel. Unlike his father, he believes in living large. Sure, Thomas owned an expensive car dealership and Chrissy prided himself with a fleet of yachts, but Daniel's mode of operation surpasses both of them. He'll smile and pose for the camera whenever he's given an opportunity. Despite mounds of evidence against him, it's proven impossible to tie him to the Kinahan Cartel in any way, besides being Chrissy's son. Along with his aunt, Denise Kinahan, Daniel has reportedly set up 4 companies that double as fronts for his money laundering schemes. The cartel is continuing its drug trade around the globe, with their major exports being heroin and cocaine. In addition, they've been reportedly taking on murder-for-hire assignments and dabbled in illegal firearms trade and money laundering. The United States Treasury claimed that everyone in the Kinahan Cartel now reports to Daniel, but he's still smiling away in the many posts on his social media. And that was the story of Ireland's largest and most powerful cartel. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.